and let us all do we can to build a better future.
So Jimmy Dore has once again been proven correct. He's been proven correct again about force the vote. Force the vote. Force the vote. Now, of course, it's not going to be AOC and the squad that's going to do anything about force the vote, but we're going to hear mainstream media talk about force the vote. We're going to see the hypocrisy of the squad. We're going to see the hypocrisy of the Democratic Party because we are seeing the Republicans use force the vote. Now, Jimmy Dore didn't just wake up one morning and say, hey, I'm just going to come up with this statement, this thing, this idea called force the vote. No, it's actually in DSA's playbook. That's right, the Democratic Socialists of America. It is in their goddamn playbook. And they don't give a damn about really ever implementing force to vote, because if the ESA actually gave a damn, they would have made sure that AOC and the squad were going to do it right away. But because the way Cenk Uygur and Kyle Kalinske set up Justice Democrats to where there would be no accountability for any of the people that they would put into D.C., AOC went her own way. She basically adopted OFP. And for the initiated, you know what OFP stands for. Own program. So we got this video here from Case Study QB. Listen carefully to the words that are going to be shared. Listen carefully. Listen carefully.
Both parties, as you say, they have their own divisions, the Democrat progressives, but particularly I think the hardline, MAGA wing, if you like, of the GOP. It just takes, one of them to force a vote for the Speaker's job. Kevin McCarthy knows that. So how do you see his position if there is indeed anger and pushback from his caucus? And it looks like there could be. I mean, if there's a group in his party who want to block or damage this deal, where does that leave him?
Weakened. Even more so than he is after, I believe it was 15 votes to get him the job. And part of his ability to get that job was he said, basically, we're going to stop spending. When the debt limit comes up, we're going to reduce federal spending. And I promise you, we're going to cut big programs. None of that happened. The House Freedom Caucus is really upset tonight. They will be really upset tomorrow. And I don't think that he will have their support. And this was one of the big questions when it came to Kevin McCarthy as Speaker, which is how much power does he really have over his caucus if he barely limps across the finish line when it comes to becoming Speaker? Now, of course, Hakeem Jeffries for Democrats also has a big lift here because they're progressive Democrats who are saying, why did we negotiate? Why did we do anything other than accept a clean bill? And we were essentially held ransom.
Mm-hmm. So in other words, folks, again, it just takes one of them to force the vote. Here, let's listen again just one last time.
Both parties, as you say, they have their own divisions, the Democrat progressives, but particularly I think the hardline, MAGA wing, if you like, of the GOP. It just takes, one of them to force a vote for
Wait.
MAGA wing, if you like, of the GOP. It just takes, one of them to...
One of them to do what again?
Force a vote for the...
Force a vote. Now let's look at the squad, especially when it comes down to this debt ceiling, because we talked about this on yesterday's show and on RBN. Here's a world heavyweight champion fighter who always follows through. Oh, wait, no. Jay Paul says White House should worry about progressive caucus support for debt ceiling deal, which will always get screwed over. Like, seriously. You sound like that nerd in school who's going to threaten the bully, but then backs down. All right. Representative Pramila Jayapal said Sunday that the Biden White House should be concerned about securing the Congressional Progressive Caucus support for the newly announced debt ceiling agreement, given that the deal includes work requirements for aid programs and other provisions sure to infuriate the Democratic Party's left flank. Jayapal, the chair of the Congressional Progressive Caucus, told CNN she is not happy with some of the things she's hearing about the tentative agreement, but emphasized that she still needs to see legislative text, which is expected to be released Sunday afternoon. Asked whether the White House and Democratic leaders still have to worry about the CPC, the Congressional Progressive Caucus, which has 101 members, 101 Dalmatians, good little dogs that like to bark for the Democratic Party, in the House will support the final agreement. Jayapal responded, yes, they have to worry. No, they don't. I've seen the Congressional Progressive Caucus fight. They don't have what it takes. Come on. What are you talking about? On yesterday's show, we talked about how the debt ceiling crisis that is currently happening in this country, what's currently happening in this country is downright pathetic. It's an absolute failure. I mean, let's face it, college students, anyone that had that debt freeze, well, you are going to have to go back to paying those payments off. I said that the Democrats were going to screw you over. I said that the Democrats were never going to follow through. All this worry that, oh no, there's a chance that if we don't get this done, the Democrats might not be able to help us out. No, Democrats are never going to help you out. The Democrats were always going to abandon students. They never gave a crap about Medicare for all. They never gave a crap about a woman's right to choose. They never gave a crap about student debt forgiveness. They use these terms and say, what does Medicare for all mean for you? What does student debt forgiveness mean for you? What does a woman's right to choose mean for you? But they don't mean it. They tweet it out. It's stuff that, okay, sounds good on paper. But they use that to make people afraid. And they use people's fear their inability to think critically so that they could fundraise off those people who are scared. Because that's what the Democratic Party is good for. Look at the Squad Victory Fund that took place on May 24th. They were charging people $25 a ticket to $500 a ticket. Now, why? Why did they do that? Because they know that there are enough sycophants out there that would pay good money just to see the squad and to hear nothing but word salad coming from them. Here, I want to pull up this tweet here, or not tweet, this article here from RT, just to trigger the vote blue no matter who, people. Text of the U.S. debt ceiling bill released. The agreement raises the debt limit for 2 years and includes a few of the spending cuts requested by Republicans. The text of a hard-fought agreement to raise the U.S. debt limit was released to the public on Sunday, ahead of an expected vote in Congress as soon as Wednesday. Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen has warned that the country could default on its obligations as early as June 5th if the debt ceiling is not raised. The 99-page Fiscal Responsibility Act of 2023. God damn it, that is a terrible name. Fiscal Responsibility raises the debt limit for 2 years and sets discretionary spending limits through 2029. It sets a generous limit of $886 billion for the 2024 defense budget. Oh, wow, look at that, $886 billion. But we don't have money for Medicare for all. I just want to stop things up here real quick and just pull up this video here, because the thing is, because again, it's important for us to hear about why we should not waste our time with the Democratic Party. Again, $886 billion for the 2024 defense budget, right? And $895 billion for 2025, while non-military discretionary programs just get $637 billion. Really? Now, again, when voters asked AOC and the squad to step up, we got them to say nothing. I mean, they didn't do anything for us. Here, remember this video?
The Democratic Party does not do more unless it is pushed. So we need to push them. And they don't like it. I think I annoy them, but
remember when AOC used to show up on Jimmy Dore? Remember that? I do.
But that is our job. That's our job. Force it to happen. Do not trust any political party to automatically work in your interest.
I call on everybody in independent media to join this mission.
Force it to happen.
Force the Congress to show which side are they really on. No vote for Nancy Pelosi unless Medicare for all is put on the House floor for a vote.
Start bringing the ruckus on the Democratic Party.
Bring the ruckus, which never came into fruition, by the way, folks. Never, ever came into fruition. But yet, hey, we got money for war. Unending forever war. The bill contains relatively a few of the spending cuts Republicans have demanded, aside from the rescinding of $1.4 billion that have been allocated for the Internal Revenue Service and a controversial expansion of that department under the Inflation Reduction Act, reclaiming $28 billion in unspent COVID-19 funding. You're not going to get that money back. Members of Congress have at minimum 72 hours to review the bill before voting, meaning the earliest it will head to the House floor is Wednesday, though its passage is not guaranteed, with members of both parties objecting to elements of the deal. Representative Chip Roy from Texas described the agreement as a turd sandwich on Sunday, summing up the feelings of Republicans who believe upping the debt ceiling by $4 trillion without significant cuts is wildly fiscally irresponsible. Man, these politicians talk about being responsible. None of these politicians are responsible. They have the audacity to tell Americans how to live. These are the same politicians who have gold-plated health care and so many other wonderful social benefits. Okay? And plus, they got numerous financial opportunities waiting for them should they retire from Congress or should they be elected out of office. Plus, they got that great grift known as speakership fees. So, these politicians will be living it up. Meanwhile, hey, listen to this. Representative Pramila Jayapal told CNN that the party's leaders have to worry about whether the Congressional Progressive Caucus, which she leads, will support the bill, which expands work requirements for some food stamp recipients, but leaves Medicare recipients alone. President Joe Biden and House Speaker Kevin McCarthy agreed on the basic framework of the deal on Saturday, each claiming the compromise is a victory for their party. Look, Republicans in Washington, D.C., force a vote. Please. I just want to see the politicians just squirm again. That was just so beautiful. It really was. So on the off chance we got some jagoff Republican lawmaker, and that's right, because I have no respect for Democratic or Republican lawmakers, but just for my entertainment, please do it. Please force the vote. I just want to see it happen again. I was hoping and praying that the lead up to the 2024 election cycle was going to be entertaining. I want to grab the popcorn and be entertained as I see these politicians squirm. I just want to see it so badly. So they're all claiming that's a victory. Should Congress fail to raise its borrowing limit in time, the U.S. would face its first ever default. Given the dollar's status as a global reserve currency and the sheer size of the debt, $31.8 trillion, many believe this would set in motion a global crisis. Let's zoom in on that one right there. Global crisis. Just so we can all enjoy it together. Look at that. Global crisis. I want everyone to understand, poor folk didn't lead us into this crisis. Migrants did not lead us into this crisis. A person working 2 or 3 jobs just to make ends meet did not lead us into this crisis. The people who did are jagoffs like Kevin McCarthy, people like Pramila Jayapal, people like Joe Biden, people like Nancy Pelosi, Turtle Boy Mitch McConnell, Lindsey Graham Cracker, all of these jagoff politicians. They're the ones who did this to us, the people. So if you're a Republican voter or a Democratic voter, I understand it's comfortable for both groups, Democratic voters and Republican voters, to go at each other's throats, but breathe in, breathe out, take a look around your surroundings, have a nice cup of tea, and then really look at your lawmakers and ask yourselves, have they really made your lives better? And if you have the courage for any point in time between now and till Wednesday, if Congress takes care of the debt ceiling crisis, go to Unusual Whales on Twitter, and you're going to find out what your oh so fantastic lawmaker has been doing. A lot of these Democratic and Republican lawmakers have been doing fantastic with insider trading. Now, let's say we do head into a global crisis. I want to assure all of you that your politicians, your favorite lawmakers, will not be suffering as we are. They will not be struggling like we are. They are still going to be living their best lives. Tell me again why people vote Democrat or Republican still? Do you really think either party cares about you? I want to pull up this random tweet that I saw that pretty much encompasses how I feel. This debt crisis was nothing but a stunt and a show. I feel like this was planned by both sides, GOP and DNC. I bet behind closed doors they are laughing at us for fighting each other instead of going after their asses. That's Notori Lee. And again, this is how I feel. Yeah, because they are laughing behind closed doors. And we are fighting each other. The Democratic Party and Republican Party, they dance and drink because they believe you are weak. They dance and drink because they know they could push you around. They know that you're easily manipulated. The Democratic Party knows that they could tell you guys and gals to fight each other. No accountability whatsoever. Remember, folks, the two-party system, they don't like you, they don't think about you, they don't respect you.